Welcome, subscribers and guests. You're listening to DoublePlusMedia News. Let's go. Reuters. Canada drops vaccine mandate for its truckers after pressure from industry. Canada will allow unvaccinated Canadian truckers to cross in from the United States, reversing a decision requiring all truckers to be inoculated against the coronavirus, Canada's border agent said on Wednesday. Canada Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had faced pressure from the main opposition party and trucking lobby to drop the vaccine mandate for Canadian truckers, saying it could result in driver shortages, disrupt trade, and drive up inflation. However, American truck drivers are still required to be vaccinated. 10 to 20% of American truck drivers are unvaccinated. Commentary. Yeah, so there is currently 50,000 truckers on their way to Ottawa, probably already there. I hope the Canadian truck drivers stand with the American ones and protest vaccine mandates in general. This story gets even bigger with the addition of the GoFundMe blocking the funding for these drivers. They have since released 1 million of the 6 million raised for the truckers. That's great. And with large sums of funds, you should be cautious. But something tells me GoFundMe bends too easily to outside pitchforkers, raising money for people to peacefully protest the government. Yeah, we might release the funds if the government gives us the go-ahead. I think we need a decentralized system. Come on, cryptocurrency platforms. Allow people to raise funds freely. Pump and dump. Go truckers. And the mandates with your Freedom Convoy. CBC. Biden vows to nominate black women to Supreme Court as Justice Stephen Breyer set to retire. U.S. President Joe Biden on Thursday said he plans by the end of February to nominate a black woman to replace retiring U.S. Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, which he said would be a quote-unquote long overdue historic first. Commentary. Ugh, I always hate these stories. Again, I personally think it denigrates the praise of achievement when you set it to something the achiever had no control over. Can't we just nominate people for being a great nomination? Historic first is a dumb reason to justify a justice. I hope there were other reasons, and if so, why not make that your main reason instead of the weakest reason? Tokenism makes things worse, not better. Yahoo News. Strange Milky Way object sends radio bursts a minute at a time. Astronomers are still finding strange objects that defy expectations. According to BBC News, researchers from the Curtin University node of the International Center for Radio Astronomy Research have discovered a strange spinning Milky Way object around 4,000 light-years away. The repeating transient sent a giant burst of polarized radio energy for a full minute every 18 minutes and was appearing and disappearing over the course of a few hours of observations. For context, a pulsar's burst lasts a few seconds or less. Commentary. What are you trying to tell us? I hope this message doesn't take 100 years to be fully received. Oh, never mind, it's just a mixtape. Okay, that was dumb. Release the Space Force though, just in case. Castanet. Ryan Reynolds to have a street in Ottawa named after him. The 45-year-old actor and Vancouver native is to be nationally recognized with the opening of Ryan Reynolds Way, which is located in the east end of the city. Commentary. I hope they combed his Twitter feed first. It's gonna be real dumb if they change this street in the future because of something he said today is offensive in 10 years. I'm looking at you, Twitterati. Global News. Sunwing plane party organizer threatens legal action against airline. The organizer of a Sunwing flight to Mexico that garnered international attention after passengers defied COVID-19 health measures and partied in the aisle of a plane says he is working on a potential lawsuit against the airline. James William Awad told reporters Thursday that airlines quote-unquote abandoned 154 Canadians down south, quote, without knowing if they could afford another night in a hotel, without knowing if they could afford food the next day, without any option to return to Canada, unquote. Quote, right now we're working on taking legal action against Sunwing, unquote, he said during a news conference in Montreal. Commentary. The age of litigation. Can't get what you want? Sue! So Trudeau doesn't like these influencers, called them quote-unquote idiots. What really bothers me is the Quarantine Act and the state of emergency powers in general. They are supposed to be temporary and used sparingly. 2 years later, the Quarantine Act is being used by the government to block a single plane of passengers. Couldn't the province of arrival deal with this? Doesn't sound temporary and sparing to me, but then again, I'm a freedom-loving nut job. Toronto Sun. Jeopardy champion Amy Schneider's streak ends after 40 games. After a thrilling 40-game streak, quote-unquote Jeopardy phenom Amy Schneider finally met her match. Schneider, an engineering manager from Oakland, California, lost her 41st game on Wednesday to Roan Talsma, a librarian from Chicago. With 40 consecutive wins, Schneider holds the title for the second longest run in the quiz show's history, collecting 1,382,000 in winnings in the process. Commentary. For those wondering, the longest streak was 74 games, total winnings of over 2.5 million, and that's Ken Jennings, who in my crackpot opinion was set up to lose because Jeopardy was getting boring with Ken winning everything. A good story for another time. Al Jazeera. Prepare for liftoff. Fed signals March interest rate hike. The U.S. Federal Reserve left interest rates unchanged, but Powell said the Fed is quote-unquote of a mind to raise them in March. The steward of the United States economy, the Federal Reserve, left interest rates unchanged at the end of its two-day three-day policy setting meeting on Wednesday, but it did prepare the ground for its first pandemic interest rate hike. Commentary. Hold on to your butts, folks. Economists typically say the rate hikes means bubble busting. The markets are looking pretty destabilized right now, so who knows? Diversify your portfolio or risk it all. Pump and dump, baby. Thanks for listening, and a double plus thanks to likes, comments, and subscribers.